There's not a negotiation going on
Did
here.
not think.
Raise.
Yeah, don't tempt me. He's trying to tempt me. I would like to call. I'm going to check. Feels reasonable. I'm going to check it again. Respectable. Respectable bet.
The flop checks through, and then Doug elects to bet the turn. Let's jump back to the flop here. Bill's checking out of position 100% here. And when he checks the 9-7, Doug's hand, 9-7 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, 7 of spades, is mostly betting here 90% of the time. Smaller size, usually 67% of the time, and then elects a 70% size. Another 24% checking 9%. Let's take a look at both responses for the out of position player here. Bill, against the smaller bet size, his hand ace-6 of clubs is calling 82% and does raise 18%, raise size of 50%. Then let's bounce back here and see against the bigger bet size of 70%. It's always calling, so it's raising a little bit more against the smaller bet size. But as played, he does call. The turn brings the 10 of clubs, and once again, the solver suggests that Bill could play a little bit more aggressively here. We've seen this in the past couple hands, especially out of position leads. Some of his hands that we've seen so far in this series could be played quite a bit more aggressively, especially out of position. And this is another one. You can see the bet sizes here. Really all the options are in play here for Bill. You're still checking, which he does 50% of the time, but the 30% bet size is used 20% of the time. The 70% bet size is about 15%, and then an overbet is well in play here as well and could be used 17 to 20% of the time. As played, however, he checks, and Doug bets about 75% pot, I believe it was, and his hand here, 9-7 of diamonds and clubs, diamond and spade. Solver's betting 11%, that size of 70%, but it really likes an overbet here, using a size of 140%, about 90% of the time. Against this 75% bet size, Bill elects to call, but the solver would always be raising with his ace-6 of clubs. This is against the 70% size. Let's bounce back now and look against the 140% bet size, so an overbet 7 into 5. If Doug did elect to do that like the solver recommends, then Bill's response here is a mix between call and folding with his ace-6 of clubs.
Check.
I lose.
You do.
Drifts for Bill.
River brings the ace of spades, and out of position player Bill here is checking 100% of his range. Let's look at Doug's hand, the 9-7, and most of the combinations of 9-7 are all betting, usually the 70% size, or really a mix between the 70% size or the overbet again. This is using the turn bet size of 70% though. So Doug elects not to bet here. Might be a player exploit that he has against Bill here in this spot on this board, thinking that his turn bets were the most profitable and his opponent may be overfolding on the turn, which would mean that he arrives at the river with a much stronger range. And that is the case here. Bill would 100% be calling any bet, obviously, with an ace. So perhaps we see a good exploit check back by Doug here, where the solver bets almost always. Let's go a little bit deeper into this hand so we better understand this spot. Normally this would be part of the member section, but I'll include it free in the video here today. We're going to play against the solution here so we better understand how the entire range plays on this flop. We're going to play first from the small blind, Doug's position. Here is the overall solution, but we'll go ahead and jump in and start playing and sort it out as we go. A couple of useful things up here. We're going to be checking the entire range about 27%. We're going to be betting 30%, 61% of the time. We're going to be betting 70% pot, 10% of the time, and maybe 1%, and maybe no overbets on the flop here, but those will come into play on the turn and river. This particular hand, 9-8, likes to, you can see the God mode numbers down here that we'll play with, at least initially. So this hand is betting 30% pot 82% of the time, and the other 17% is betting 70% pot. Some other useful metrics on the screen here. You can see kind of a image of what the ranges are, small blind versus big blind. This changes on every card as well, every street. So now on this 6 of hearts, we're going to be checking 53%. We're going to be betting 46% of our range, and then it has the bet sizes there as well. So we'll have 15% over bets in this spot. The expected value, you can see we are expected to win 4.52 chips. Big blind is 3.4, even though the big blind has an equity advantage. So if you look at both of those numbers together, you can kind of get into an equity realization understanding, but we're going to win more money even though we have an equity disadvantage right now in this hand. So half the time we're checking this, 23% of the time we're betting small, and 20% we are betting big. I'll use the random number generator here. It's just off the screen, but another way I do it is to use the last 2 digits of these. So this would be 46. I'll just, for this video, since I put it out of screen, I'll just go ahead and use this. This would be a 37. Once again, the ace is a good card for this in-position player to bet. Doug chose to check it back here on a similar board, but solver likes to bet in this spot. Gets a fold there from a hand that it was beating anyway. Always calling against the raise here. Good card to bet big with the full house. Queen 4 folds. King Jack likes to bet and then call the raise. Big EV lost to fold. Checking 100 basically on this turn. We are betting this river 70% of the time, checking the other 30%. 10 deuce folds. All the options. Well, checking half the time here with our ace, and this is the time I'll go to the RNG here. 76 is the number, so the higher the number, the more aggressive the action, and 76 would be in this category here, betting big. King 6 likes to check. Face a small bet here. Solver's always calling or raising, never folding here, even with the just the king high, but king of clubs. So 60% we're calling. Face another bet here, this time an over bet, and mostly folding. 76% folding, 22% call. King Queen, when it gets raised, it is also calling. Pretty big EV loss to fold. King of diamonds might be an important card. And 9 of diamonds on the turn. We do pick up our backdoor flush draw here. Face another small bet, which we're never folding to. Huge EV loss to fold. We have a good amount of equity here. Top 23% of our range. Calling half the time, raising half the time. So it's at 21 on the RNG. So this time I would just call. 8 of diamonds on the river here. You can see Ranger's range, it's about equal. Big blind has an equity advantage, but we have a realization advantage, so it's about equal in terms of the equity that we're going to realize. So in that case, good time to bet big. He's got a lot of hands that he can calls with that have equity, and we're at the top of our range here with the nuts. He does fold the ace though. Let's take a look at what he's calling with. Yeah, can't go back now. All right, moving on. 9-7 diamond clubs, similar to what he had. You can see the solver likes to bet, always really. Even the 9 deuce likes to bet using all 3 sizes, but then fold to a raise. So you can see on the turn here we had all the bet sizes available to us with this hand, and when we do bet small, we're definitely not giving up on this particular card anyway. Probably on most, I would imagine. But you can see we're 70% of the time, 64% of the time, or we are overbetting quite a bit as well. We overbet and we get a 7 to fold. All right, good hand. So that's just a preview of. We go much deeper into the member section typically with these videos.